Hello, my name is Karen Gundoli, and I am the CEO of LeoStream. Today, I want to talk about something we are hearing more and more about as people are looking to migrate off of Citrix, and that is how do you handle remote application publishing when you're working with LeoStream? And why would you want to move from Citrix to LeoStream with RDS anyway? So let's talk about that today. First of all, LeoStream has been around since 2008, delivering desktops for a wide variety of use cases, but sometimes you don't want to provide a full desktop to your users. Really, what they need ultimately is the application that's on those desktops. That provides them with the tools they need to get their job done. So instead of giving them the entire desktop, just give them the application. This is great for line of business apps, for contractors who you don't want to give full desktop access to, and sometimes just for legacy apps that you don't want to carry around older versions of desktop operating systems and provide those as desktops for. So the key here is publish those applications. Don't install them locally on users' machines, whether those machines be their laptops or virtual desktops. If you have to install all of these applications locally, that makes for a very complex job for IT. And it means that you might have inconsistent versions across users. So to solve that inconsistency problem and that complexity problem, you publish these applications on what I'm going to say is an RDS server. And that improves your security and simplifies updates and patching and IT life in general. So I said RDS servers because really published applications are, for Windows at least, published on Microsoft RDS servers, Windows Server 2025, what have you. You don't need the full Citrix virtual app stack to publish applications. And by just using RDS, you can eliminate the Citrix licensing fees, you really simplify the setup, and it's perfect if you're already a Microsoft shop anyway and you have the licensing in place. But if you just have RDS with public applications, there's still this question of how do you ensure appropriate access for different types of users? How do you load balance across all of the servers that you might have? And then, even more so, how do you handle hybrid environments where you're going to publish some applications and still provide full desktops, maybe across on prem and cloud environments? It's easy to set up an RDS server. It's a little bit more difficult to provide consistent access to all of these different pieces. Thankfully, there's LeoStream. So the LeoStream platform is your access control layer. It is what is going to connect your users to the appropriate applications and to the appropriate desktops, no matter where those users are and no matter where those applications and desktops live, whether that's on-prem, in the cloud, maybe a combination with physical workstations, whatever you have, LeoStream allows you to apply policies and implement access control rules that really lock down who has access to what. And obviously, with multi-factor authentication, that works best for your organization and your security requirements. LeoStream is also itself as a platform incredibly flexible and scalable, and that makes your application publishing system flexible and scalable as well. Now, the key here, again, we're talking RDS. LeoStream doesn't provide the application publishing platform. That is RDS. And then you layer LeoStream on top as the access control layer. And this really gives you a successful hybrid environment with unified management for your applications and desktops and user access. And that's going to make your workflows more flexible, reduce IT overhead, and generally just improve the security of your environment. So let's real quickly show you how this works in LeoStream. So I'm going to show you the LeoStream platform connection broker, and this is the administrator interface. So here, I'm going to log in, and by default, it drops me at the dashboard. But what I really want to focus on here is how do you set up RDS within the construct of LeoStream. You've already published the applications on the RDS server. Now we're in the next step of wanting to define access for those. Well, it's done through these things called centers. Now to set up RDS in LeoStream, there's a few steps to this process, but they're not complicated. First, you need to get the servers into your connection broker to start with. Now, if you have a large number of RDS servers, you don't want to come in here and individually add them into the broker. Instead, think about where those RDS servers are hosted. Are they up in the cloud? Do you maybe have a Nutanix or some other hyperconverged infrastructure? Maybe they're on vSphere. Wherever all these Windows servers are located, you can add that environment as a center in NeoStream, and that will inventory all of those servers over here on the desktops page. And then what you can do is come into the desktops page, select all your servers, and you can actually convert them quite easily into RDS multi-user centers. You indicate the maximum number of sessions you want hosted on each of those servers, you hit OK, and now that is going to register all of your RDS servers and essentially placeholders for the number of users that you want as a maximum on each of those servers. So you can see I've already converted one here. I have it right there, my RDS server there. Now that gives you the sessions, again, kind of placeholders for the number of users you want. To publish applications to users and control their access, it's a simple matter of creating pools of your application servers, maybe split into separate pools based on the applications that are on there. Pooling in NeoStream is very flexible, so you can define how you want this to work, and we're here to help you kind of optimize that. For example, if you have multiple RDS servers that are publishing applications, you can create a pool of all of the sessions associated with those servers. And then there's actually this load balancing option to help us distribute load across those servers. Maybe it's evenly, maybe it's for the server with the least number of current assignments. However you want to do that, again, we're here to help you. But you can also, here I'm just manually defining a pool of 5 sessions. So again, various different ways of setting this up. And then to actually launch the application, that's done very simply through protocol plans. Now, LeoStream works with RDS to publish applications. RDS, you use Microsoft RDP to connect to it. So you can see there's a couple ways to do this. One, using either LeoStream Connect or even the LeoStream web browser, I can launch the RDP client, MST-DSC, and I can indicate which particular application this protocol plan is going to launch. So depending on how many applications I have, I create a protocol plan for each one. Not only can you do client-based RDP, but the LeoStream Gateway's HTML5 client supports application publishing as well. So I select RDP as the protocol. I indicate that I want Microsoft Remote App support. And again, I just enter in the name. Then, through the use of my policies, I can come in here and offer the user both desktops and application pools, as many as I might need. So to show this, let me launch LeoStream Connect real quickly. LeoStream Connect is LeoStream's software client, and it installs on Windows in this case, or you can also use it on Linux or Mac. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully type my password correctly and be offered, nope, sure didn't. And then be offered both an application and a desktop. So if I click on the application and click connect, now it's launching that remote app session. And what will happen is I'll get WordPad launched on my machine in a seamless window, and it'll look just like it's running locally on my machine. It's hard to see the borders because of the white in the background, but there you see. It's WordPad, but I don't know that it's hosted somewhere else. And that's really all there is to it. If you want to give this a try, if you need more information, you can contact us at info@leostream.com. Thank you.